We've had a bounty boy who climbed a 5,000 meter high mountain while holding two of his friends in a blizzard. We've had a swordsman who cuts mountains in half, and we had a curly eyebrowed chef who would give just about anything for his friends. But let's face it, at the end of the day, these guys are called the Monster Trio for a reason. They're freaks. Luffy is made of rubber, Zoro is next to indestructible, and Sanji can fly? I know I already praised Sanji too much, but can we just take in that this guy can just keep on jumping and kick the air hard enough that he flies? That's insane. But today, we aren't talking about some indestructible and unstoppable force. Today we are talking about the god himself, Usopp, and what are in my opinion his most underrated moments. Usopp tends to be a pretty decisive character. People either love him and find him hilarious, or they find him horribly annoying because he is so cowardly. And the way I've always looked at it is Usopp is just a normal dude in a world full of superpowers and monsters. Of course he's going to be afraid. Imagine you are thrown into the world of One Piece right now, the way you are, and you have to go up against someone like Kizaru, or hell, even Zoro. Absolutely, you'd be terrified. What are you gonna do? Shoot some Tabasco at them? At the core of Usopp's character are three factors. First, the dude is a coward. Second, he's a massive liar. The first two are absolutely hilarious in my mind and lead to some of the funniest things in the series. Like, I'll die if I go to that island disease, or the giant goldfish story, or the fact that he is a great pirate captain with 10 million men feared across the seas, while his knees are shaking. And third, he will do just about anything for the people and things he cares about. And this is where Usopp shines. When Usopp cares about someone or something, he is able to break his cowardly habits and become the great warrior of the sea that he's always dreamt about. And no arc shows this better than the Water 7 and Enos Lobby arcs in my mind. So the crew arrives on Water 7 and the Going Merry is falling apart, like holding on by a thread. Luckily, they have a chunk of money and hopefully things will be okay. Usopp is put in charge of protecting their money and the Frankie gang steals it from them. So then Usopp goes to the Frankie gang's hideout on his own to take the money back. And he straight up gets beaten within an inch of his life, leading to another amazing walking scene by the other Straw Hats. Remember, Usopp is a coward and will do just about anything to avoid conflict. However, when the money he needed to protect his ship was stolen, he was more than willing to charge into a lion's den all alone to try and fix it. And he does this time and time again. Anytime people are in real danger, or anytime he loves something, he will always stand up and his cowardice disappears. He also often gets super invested in it. Once he makes up his mind, he sticks to it no matter what. So in the same arc, when Luffy gets told by the Gali Law workers, who are mostly not secret government agents by the way, that the Going Merry is beyond fixing, it was apparently a miracle that it even made it this far. So Luffy tells the crew, and Usopp threatens to leave the crew and challenges Luffy to a duel for the Merry, and Usopp fucking rocks this fight. I won't talk too much about it because this fight is hype and not exactly underrated in any way. But there is no better Usopp moment in the series for me, so I'm gonna talk about it anyways. He fights Luffy in the most Usopp way possible. He uses tricks and traps in creative ways. He knows Luffy so well, so he's able to be so efficient in fighting him. Going into this arc, you would never think that Usopp would even be able to put up a fight. But honestly, despite the fact that he had really no chance of winning, he completely annihilated Luffy. I truly wish that we got to see this side of Usopp more often. Anyways, let's move on to Thriller Bark and when Usopp fights against Perona. Perona is the waifu of every dude who grew up watching Tim Burton animated movies, and honestly, I stan. But anyways, she has the Horo Horo no Mi, which allows her to drain the happiness, confidence, and will to fight from their opponents and just fills them with general negativity. Something that is insanely powerful, even managing to bring people like Sanji and Zoro to their knees. Literally. But then she fights Usopp and tries to drain his spirit. But in typical Oda humor, Usopp is immune to this devil fruit because he is always the most negative. He never wants to fight, he is cowardly, and he is miserable because he is on an island that might as well be haunted. He's always negative, so becoming more negative is kind of impossible. This is a small but underrated moment and I absolutely love it. And then later in the arc, Usopp flexes his 10-ton hammer, which totally actually weighs that amount. From negativity and cowardice, let's move on to the topic of bravery. Usopp and Enel. Enel is getting ready to turn Nami into a pile of ash, but then Usopp shoots a flaming star at him to distract him, only to realize that Sanji isn't around and he will have to fight Enel alone to protect Nami. to which he immediately closes the door and hides away for a moment. He's shaking and considering running, but then he opens the door and charges forward. The whole scene and watching him and Nami argue together is so freaking funny. But look at this masterful dodge. Enel calls down this lightning bolt on Usopp, and Usopp does a perfect gymnastics routine to jump out of the way. He just messed up a little bit on the landing. This whole fight is a perfect mix of Usopp actually trying his best, but also mixing in a ton of humor at every opportunity. We even get to see the masterful and amazing Usopp spell. He climbs to the highest point he can, poses like he is about to join the Ginyu Force, and yells out the magic words. A needle embeds itself in the skin under your nail, which causes both himself and Nami to shudder, while not affecting Enel at all. When Nami shakes, Usopp calls her an idiot and says she needs to plug her ears or forfeit her life, to which Enel just kind of hits him on the head. It's a really hilarious fight, and it shows Usopp doing his best and acting as a distraction so that Nami can get away. Speaking of Usopp becoming something better when it comes down to saving his friends' lives, we have the Enos Lobby Arc. Now I know it is heavily debated, but some mad lads actually think Usopp and Sogeking are the same person. I know, wild. But since so many people believe it, I should probably cover it here. The theory goes that after Usopp beat Luffy down, he heard Robin was in danger and donned a mask so he could hide his identity while still helping. He literally became a superhero to save Robin. Despite how embarrassed he was for turning on his captain, as the arc goes on, there is a scene on a bridge where a bunch of Marines with guns are trying to shoot the Straw Hats and they can't land their shots. But meanwhile, Usopp is clearing them out one at a time with his slingshot from miles away. We rarely get to see this level of domination from Usopp, but here he is, making the Marines look like absolute fools. Literally, Spandam hears that they are being shot at from the Tower of Justice and is shocked anyone could do anything from that distance, let alone snipe with all the wind that's blowing. The Marines say that their bullets won't even breach when they are trying to shoot him, but Sogeking isn't missing a single shot, all while singing his theme song. If he were to be Usopp, which he isn't, that would be a pretty huge flex. Then of course in the same arc we have the Robin's I want to live speech, which is absolutely amazing. And the moment she says she wants to live, Luffy gives the order and Usopp takes a shot that burns down the world government's flag, officially declaring war on the world for their crewmate. This one isn't exactly underrated, but come on, I couldn't not mention it. Next, let's jump over to Alabasta for Usopp's second best tag team fight. In this corner, we have the blue-nosed reindeer and the big-nosed coward. And in the opposing corner, we have an overweight man with a baseball bat and your least favorite ant. That's right, Chopper and Usopp versus Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas. The Baroque Works duo had this devastating combination where Miss Merry Christmas would use her mole fruit to dig tunnels through the sand, create pitfalls, and charge the Straw Hats. Meanwhile, Mr. Four would have his dog Lasso shoot baseballs at him so he could swing his bat and launch them back at the Straw Hats. Oh, and did I mention the balls would explode on impact? Couple this with being able to constantly pop in and out of Miss Merry Christmas's tunnels, and you have a target that is hard to hit, but also can hit you from anywhere very quickly. Of course, Usopp lands his patented 5-ton Usopp hammer on him, which knocks him out for a solid 30 seconds before playing literal whack-a-mole with Miss Merry Christmas. She starts chasing Usopp as Chopper hops in Brain Point to think things over while being blown to bits by Mr. Four. Then when Miss Merry Christmas actually catches Usopp, she grabs his ankles and drags him through a brick wall and then rushes him towards Mr. Four, who clotheslines him with his bat. We even get a Mortal Kombat-esque X-ray shot of Usopp's skull cracking. Despite this, Usopp gets up, totally bloodied and beaten. He's grabbed again by Miss Merry Christmas and brought to Mr. Four, but this time he launches a smoke star at Mr. Four and slides out of his shoes as Chopper picks up Miss Merry Christmas and brings her to Mr. Four through the smoke. Unable to see who is coming through, Mr. Four swings and knocks the mole out as Usopp slingshots a real hammer at him and takes his batter out for good. This fight had just about everything Usopp needs for a great scene. Comedy in things like Usopp Hammer and Whack-A-Mole, heartfelt and pity-filled scenes where Usopp is on death's door, but still gets up so Chopper won't have to fight alone. And of course, using trickery and intelligence to take the W instead of just brute force. After all, he is more of a strategist and a sniper than he is a brawler. Finally, sometimes it does come down to pure strength. So we are hopping back to Enos Lobby. Here we have Usopp's greatest tag team fight, and of course, we see him at full power here. he and Zoro are handcuffed together against Kaku and Jabra. So Usopp holds on to Zoro's sword, and Zoro has to fight while basically using the ultimate weapon as his blade, the god Usopp himself. And there you have it, a bunch of moments that Usopp really shined that I think he doesn't get nearly enough credit for. Usopp might not be my favorite character, but he definitely has some of the most heartfelt and amazing scenes when he stands up for his friends and what he believes in. But what do you guys think? Are there other underrated God Usopp moments I missed? And next time, we will be talking about Nami, so let me know your favorite underrated Nami moments as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more anime content. I want to give a huge, gigantic thank you to all my current patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. You really do make it possible for me to hire editors and upload more frequently at a higher quality. I've been slacking a little bit, so I set myself a goal on Twitter to upload 10 times this month. This is the first video of many. So get excited. This entire time, the $1 tier has been on screen. Thank you so much, guys. And now a big thank you to my $2 tier. Siren, RTL Faith, Raphael, Codex. A huge thank you to my $5 tier, Mick Manga, Nothing But a Fan, King Osloth, Maggie, Joel Godinez, Michelle Moria, Jessica, Steven, Ophir. A huge thank you to my $10 tier, Johnny Boy Draws, I Cry During Sex, Jay Kasumi, Shelly, Kaiser Runar, Terra Shift, Gamer, Ya Boy Shinji, Soul Slayer, Jakeman, Greg, King Zeldris, Elizabeth Fleet, Dusty Blanchette, Ginkgo Taku, and a huge thank you to my $25 tier, the absolute maddest of lads, Steelers, Rusty Lee, Tyson Carino, Twilight Void, a new patron, and my #1 patron, some guy, 9393. Thank you everyone again so much, you guys are awesome, and just like that, I will see you guys all next time, dudes. Shinpaku.